Welcome to Femme Furious, a podcast where pop culture meets a feminine framing. And today, where the podcast is meeting a little bit of patriarchy smashing commentary. I am your host, Julia Rose Portela, and on this, the 4th of July, I would just like to say, I am a last-minute bitch, and I am recording this on Friday, the 4th of July, not thinking in my girl brain that there would be parties and barbecues happening all around me, and so it is quite noisy, and I will do my best to edit out as much of the parties that are happening all around me as I can. But if you hear some music bumping in the background, just know that those people hopefully just have a little bit of revolutionary hope and wanted to get super drunk as we watch the absolute crumbling of American democracy. And if you're actually out there really celebrating and having a party because you like the state of how America currently is, to you I say, fuck you. Okay, today's episode is a little bit of a love letter, a little bit of a rally cry. We are talking about the 5 powerhouse women that are reshaping American politics right now, that are having an absolute hand in some of my favorite political moments of the year so far. I'm calling this one the Dames of Democracy. It's a quickie. We're going to be in and out on this episode. We're not going to spend a ton of time here, but just a little nod to the women who are out there doing real work, unlike me, who just sits here and talks about pop culture all the time. These are real women who are out there making real statements and doing really impactful things with their lives, and I'm really, really grateful to have women like this to look up to. So, the girls are not just girling today. We are doing a governmental, informational, disrupting of the system, and we are going to be holding the line where it matters most today. We'll be going through the top 5 in backwards to forwards order, so 5 to 1. That's how people would call it, okay? Very under-caffeinated and very overstimulated with all of the stuff that's happening around me right now. So, let's start with number 5. And this is kind of a smuggle pick because I picked the women of Strict Scrutiny. Now, if you don't know Strict Scrutiny, it is another podcast. It is hosted on Crooked Media, all of my favorite political podcasts. And Strict Scrutiny is hosted by Leah Littman, Kate Shaw, and Melissa Murray. Now, I don't listen to this every week, but when there is major news about something legal or processionally happen, that is when I will dive into this podcast because they are all legal experts and they will dive into these cases with absolute feminine fury. I love the podcast when I do listen to it. These women give us the Supreme Court realness every single week. They're breaking down complex legal decisions with clarity, with context. They make it super digestible. They are very snarky, like yours truly. It is a lot of Law and Order-esque. If you like Law and Order, but you want Law and Order #feminine edition, then you would like this podcast. They are very, very smart, quite intelligent. You can hear it in the way that they break things down. But they have charisma and they have character and they make it enjoyable to sit and listen to a lot of legal jargon, which for many people, myself included, is not fun. In a time when the law is being literally weaponized against women, against our bodily autonomy, against our voting rights, against queer existence, the women of Strict Scrutiny are our constitutional baddies. They're making sure that we understand what's happening as it hits the headlines. Okay, number 4, Rachel Maddow, the one-woman fact fortress. While some cable news hosts are yelling into the void, Rachel Maddow shows up with an absolute presence. She is grounded, she is intellectual, and she is so compassionate. Now, if you only get your news on TikTok or Instagram, semi-shame on you, but we will not shame you all the way here on this podcast. You're really missing out, though, because Rachel Maddow, who not only has her own podcast, not only has books and whatnot, did a segment in the beginning of this year for the first 100 days of Trump's presidency. The coverage of Trump 2.0 has been essential viewing, I think, for many, many people in this country, and especially people who are super concerned about the state of democracy. And this is not just for liberals, it's for anyone who's trying to make sense of what is happening out in the world. Let's be honest, there's a certain comfort in the cadence that Rachel Maddow and her monologues will bring. Watching her show each night felt like the most hopeful bedtime story in a moment like this. Because, quite frankly, the world is scary right now, and having somebody who can break it down and who you know is experiencing all of these feelings with you, but also giving you tangible action steps to take, that is why I love Rachel Maddow, and I am so grateful to her for her work that she did for those first 100 days. All right, at number 3, we have Sarah McBride, who is making history in real time. Sarah McBride was sworn in the beginning of the year as the first openly trans woman elected to U.S. Congress. Now, for those of you who know me, trans rights are a huge thing that I am invested in, and this was such a moving moment for me personally. Sarah McBride is not just a symbol. She is a legislative force on healthcare, on equality, and on civil rights. And for her to be this first openly trans woman, making history in this way, and then being an advocate for other trans youth is so prominent and so powerful and empowering to watch. Sarah's presence is a reminder that representation isn't just about seats at the table. It's about shifting what is possible and opening up our idea of what humanity is and could be and what people are and could be. And while some politicians are busy fear-mongering over bathrooms, Sarah's out here writing bills like actual governance. She's doing her fucking job. Wild, right? So I love her. I'm so proud and happy that she has a seat and that she gets to bring her voice to the table in any small context. It's not small, but even if it was just one small drop, that really does shift the tide, and it's been really impactful to watch, especially for those of us who are super connected to the trans right movement. At number 2, we have AOC, one of my favorite people in politics forever and always, just because she's youthful and she's vital. But also, this like Bronx meets the Bernie bus, AOC and, Bernie Sanders together out on tour has been so amazing. AOC is what happens when you mix a TikTok level savvy woman with an old school grassroots power like Bernie Sanders. She's been on the road with Bernie Sanders in the Fighting Oligarchy tour, and they have been lighting up arenas like it is a punk show from 2008. But instead of mosh pits, it's Medicare for all chants. It has been incredible to watch. The footage online has been some of the most empowered I felt in a very bleak political landscape. So say what you want about AOC, because people do as they do about any strong, powerful woman that is out there in the world. But she understands the assignment, and she knows how to activate the base. She knows how to reach voters. She knows how to talk to them in a way that feels real and not fake or forced. And she serves meme-worthy looks while she's doing it. She always looks fucking phenomenal. Love her. She's at number 2 up on the list, okay? Bernie Sanders is kind of like a smuggle, because I will say that he's not a woman, but he's for the women. Do you know what I mean? Like, Bernie Sanders is for the girls. I mean, I know that he's also for the guys, but, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, last but not least, at number 1, we have our Lord and Savior, Michelle Obama, the power of strategic absence. Because you know who wasn't at the inauguration last year? Or at the beginning of this year? Michelle Obama. And her absence was loud. The woman who gave us "when they go low, we go high" said essentially, I'm going to go high and go home. She just didn't go. And it was newsworthy, but not really like deep into pop news, I would say. It was more on like political podcasts and things like that. But in an era where silence can be complicit, Michelle's non-attendance became a statement, and a really powerful one. It was a boundary. It was a refusal to normalize, and frankly, it was fucking iconic. So here's to Michelle Obama. We love you, mama girl, and she will always be my first lady. All right, that's the Dames of Democracy. I told you it was a quickie, but it just felt right to do something fun and to do something that would honor all of these women who are showing up in American politics right now, making waves, being change makers, and actively fighting for us, women. And on a podcast where feminism is a key core of what I'm talking about, it feels important to acknowledge the people that are out there on the front lines, making a difference in our lives, making a difference in the landscape of what feminism can become if we just continue to fight for it politically. Feminism is always going to be a political act. It is always going to require political action. And these are our beacons. These are our guiding lights in this moment where our voice as a collective, as women, as queer folk, are being pushed down, being denied, being rejected. And so they're showing up. These women are showing up. They are consistent, they are bold, and they are doing things on their own terms. And we need to be taking a note out of their playbook. That, my friends, is the political strategy and the political energy that I want to entertain in 2025. So if you haven't already, if you're not already, go and follow them. Go support their work. Go buy their books. Go, share their sound bites and help them out. Let's do something today on this, the 4th of July, or whenever you may be listening to this, be moved into action in some capacity or another. We need to do something, anything, to continue to fight for our voices so that we have spaces to commune, so that we have the health care that we need, so that we have access to what it is that we want and continue to have the rights that we have already fought so hard for not stripped away from us. So this is your slight rally call, because the revolution isn't just televised. In this particular case, it's podcasted. So I will be back next week, and we will be doing Book Lovers on Tuesday, Funny Story on Friday, and then we will be doing a mailbag for all things Emily Henry related. And until then, make sure you go and do something today to better democracy. It is not lost yet.